Goldberg, it was 2.
More than most industries, the world of professional wrestling is built up on respect. When you start out, you put in the grind, you pay your dues, and you climb up that ladder. Despite how it's built up though, the wrestlers involved, they don't always play ball, you see. Keep in mind the egos behind the men and women involved. I mean, for fuck's sake, the front-running name and chairman of WWE might have the single biggest ego in the history of humankind. Sometimes those egos take things to the extreme. I'm D. Wicket, and these are the 10 most disrespectful moments in WWE history. Number 10, Banks and Bayley's recent endeavors.
Sasha Bayley, congratulations, the first WWE Women's Tag Team Champion.
Big yikes and bound, because we have a very recent thing kicking off this list, a moment that's really still happening and still impacting the company today. As you may know, at WrestleMania, Sasha Banks and Bayley lost their women's tag team titles to the Iconics.
And now the Iconics, Billie Kay!
Oh my God!
No biggie, except they only had the belts for a month, so that's kind of a weak title reign. Not a problem, except Sasha and Bayley were actually the ones who pushed very strongly for the titles' creation and did everything in their power to both get them made and do them justice.
It's not just these. We fought for everything because we want to make a difference. We want to see change, and you see it happening.
Slightly a problem, but not the biggest issue, until you realize that Sasha and Bayley were told that after months of hard work and build-up that they'd be losing the titles, splitting up the team, and sending Bayley off to SmackDown. All of this being information they found out on the day of WrestleMania. Despite creative knowing for weeks that this was always going to be the plan. Okay, maybe that's a bit of a problem. Bayley seems to have recovered, but they still have not gotten Sasha Banks back on board with anything. She's been canceling dates. She just dropped the European tour. We're over a month out, and it's looking like Banks is on her way out the door as soon as possible.
First of all, do not mention Sasha's name in either one of your mouths. You guys don't know what you're talking about. And if it's a fight you're looking for, I'll meet you in the ring.
Number 9, The Rock berates the Hurricane. And from a backstage disrespect to a potential on-screen burial, seriously, the only things that saved Hurricane here was the fact that he's a comedy wrestler. This could have so easily been Billy Gunn Part 2. It was so fucking harsh. It was peak heel Rock at his absolute most dickheadish. In a backstage segment that began with The Rock finding the Hurricane in a locker thing, Dwayne would go on to verbally smack down the pseudo superhero and viciously compare him to over and over again nothing.
You ain't nothing. You ain't no superhero. Not like the Scorpion King. You're 100 pounds of nothing. 5 feet nothing.
Literally, the concept of nothingness. That's what the Hurricane is to The Rock, culminating in my absolute favorite use of a phone joke in the history of entertainment. Thank you very much, Dwayne.
Use Rock. His cell phone's going off. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Cacao, hello. Hey, it's nothing. He says he knows you. You're nothing.
Number 8, Steph being Steph. Stephanie McMahon just wouldn't be Stephanie McMahon without her constant inability to show the locker room she claims to have so much praise and respect for, even the slightest sliver of that respect back.
Get out of my ring right now. I own this ring. I own this building. I own you. Damn it. Get out.
Over the years, you'd think she slapped half of the male roster while also going to the female side of things and insistently bragging about how she ushered WWE into the women's evolution. I mean, sort of, but no, Steph, you really didn't do that all by yourself. Also, hey, stop disrespecting everyone in the goddamn business when the only person who's ever gotten comeuppance on you is the UFC fighter.
Stephanie's the elbow, the commissioner! Stephanie's tapping out! Stephanie doesn't deserve that!
Number 7, JBL and the Blue Meanie, and what could only be described as a slight overreaction to some online comments by the latter. JBL decided to let loose on the ECW original during the One Night Stand pay-per-view, and holy fuck, wow, did he really let loose.
Right hand at ECW's One Night Stand broke open at the hands of JBL, and look at JBL just hammering away on the Blue Meanie.
Not much to say here, folks. Bloody Blue Meanie and a jackass BL.
Oh, look at Stephen Richards with the chair on the skull! DDT planting JBL! Oh my God!
Number 6, Goldberg and Lesnar. Remember that time they both ate shit at WrestleMania 20 from every single person in attendance being audibly pissed at both wrestlers? Good times. Back in 2004, when this was the match to be, news broke before Mania that both men, Brock and the Berg, would be leaving the WWE after the granddaddy of them all and wouldn't be back for a good long time. Clearly news spread to just about everyone in attendance that night because seriously, everyone was booing these guys.
Goldberg off the count. I thought that was a 3 count myself. Well, Austin's telling Goldberg it was 2.
Stone Cold Steve motherfucking Austin, just a year off retiring as the most over WWE superstar of the most popular era as special guest referee, could not even bent the booze in this match. It's rough.
And this is going to be it. The hook of a left and Goldberg. Goldberg kicks out. Austin at that same cadence.
Number 5, caught between a rock and a hard place. I am incredibly proud of that entry title. Thank you very much. The 2013 Royal Rumble was a bit of a strange enigma.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
Seeing as John Cena won the match itself a solid 7 years after his stranglehold over the main event began, while The Rock toppled CM Punk's infamous 434-day title reign over a decade after retiring from full-time competition, what the fuck is happening here? This pay-per-view was of course the final step in setting up a 3-year plan that WWE had concocted way back in early 2011, when The Rock first attacked John Cena in the WrestleMania main event, essentially setting up their next 2 matches. And I quote, once in a lifetime.
You need to understand that your little jabs and your insults, it's all kiddie games. You can't leave a mark on the champ's face.
And that was the plan. No matter what happens, no matter who became popular, no matter how fucking big CM Punk should have been at the time, WWE said to hell with the hottest star they had in years and gave the one thing he always wanted, that sweet, sweet Mania main event, to Rock versus Cena. Twice. Cowards.
Understand, when you step in the ring, your arms are just too short to box with God.
Number 4, Cena destroys Roman. When it comes to promos in the modern era, I'll be damned if John Cena ain't near the top of the list. He might not be a Samoa Joe or a Daniel Bryan, but fuck me if he isn't delivering consistently solid work anytime he's got a microphone between his fingers.
Because when they look at you, they see what I see. A cheap-ass, corporately created John Cena bootleg.
And hey, he's the fucking poster boy, alright? He should be able to do that. Unfortunately, the new John Cena isn't so comfortable in his role. And Cena made quick work pointing that out once the feud to end all McMahon testicles was set in stone. John Wick Cena just goes for the jugular, man. The 15-minute war of words that WWE, for some unknown reason, uploaded in its entirety on YouTube really shows the quality gap between superheroes and their mic work.
Shut up for a while, how about that? And second of all,
go ahead, find it. Go ahead.
The absolute peak was John calling Roman on his botch and outright telling him that he's got to learn how to cut a promo. Holy fuck. You don't do that, but he did that because he doesn't care.
It's called a promo,
Shut
kid,
your
and
mouth,
if you want to
John.
be the big dog, you're going to have to learn how to do it, so go ahead.
Number 3, octopus in a washing machine.
I'll tell you something. Oh, JR, I don't think that you say Michaels needs to wrestle.
Oh, Sean, you saucy salamander, why'd you have to go and fuck up SummerSlam? Complete jokes. I personally respect what Shawn did and am infinitely grateful for what he did because Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan may be one of my favorite WWE matches of all time. Only ever happening once is actually the reason behind all the controversy here. Hogan could be pointed at for disrespecting Michaels since he agreed to the back and forth 3-match series before canceling for, and I quote, back problems despite clearly being fine, so I mean, who's the real asshole here? The only thing that matters is that both men were disrespected, and goddamn was one of them more entertaining with how they handled it. Octopus in a washing machine. Fucking quality.
To the man, I don't think that Michaels has the strength or the body weight to hold Hulk Hogan on the mat.
Number 2, John Cena stumps the Nexus. The Nexus was without a doubt the brightest shining light of potential to come out of 2010. Throwing 8 guys together and telling them to raise hell, I mean, come on, it's like Stone Cold times 8. While completely different and completely PG, the Nexus was still fantastic, or at least really had the potential to become fantastic. It did. It really did. Instead, the Nexus petered out after a few blissful booking opportunities by John Cena were squandered. And instead of using his power to help put over the 8 up-and-comers, he decided the right call was to send the crowd home happy for SummerSlam and overcome the immense, overly extreme odds to defeat Wade Barrett and the Yellow Bandits. It wasn't the right call, so much so that John himself has gone back on his word and agreed that he totally buried the superstars and that it wasn't the right call. But I guess you live and you learn, John. You live and you learn.
The 7th member of Team WWE is Daniel Bryan.
What? Daniel Bryan? You gotta be kidding me!
And number 1, Triple H embarrasses Booker T.
somebody like you doesn't get to be a world champion
And speaking of embarrassing, hey WWE, how you doing? Remember this one? Remember that time you called Booker T guys like him, threw change on the ground at him, implied he carried Ric Flair's bags, and built an entire storyline around his rags to riches criminal background being redempted and overcoming the powerful white male group, only to let Triple H hit a pedigree and let half a minute go by before pinning him?
Hit this pedigree!
Yeah, if it wasn't for how WWE's been handling Hulk Hogan and Lars Pants on Fars Sullivan, I'd be surprised. The real number one was Crown Jewel, WWE. I'm on that ass.
What a pedigree! Cover him, that's it. Triple H got the pedigree. I think Nate's gonna have a stroke. He's got the hand on it. And it's